This is an M-rated game, so viewer discretion is advised. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater trial version review. This is going to be one of those games where I can only get the demo for it. I can't actually rent this, but the demo does give me enough to judge what the game is actually going to be like. So I guess this is going to be a snap judgment review, sorta. I mean, I played everything in the game, but you know, it's still snap judgment because I haven't actually played the whole game. I'm going to review the whole demo, so spoilers galore, I guess. Can you really spoil a game that's 2 chapters long that barely gets into the story? The trial version is just the first couple chapters of the whole game. I assume they give a good chunk of what's to expect in the subsequent chapters. If that's true, I'm not sure I want to take any more pictures. Speaking of which, that's what this whole gameplay is about, taking pictures. You hold up your gamepad like a camera to take pictures. These pictures can be used to take photos of the dead, or injure them, or even disperse the spirits around you. The story is about a mountain area that's been known for people to commit suicide there. A girl and her friend go up there to help the spirits that are up there. It's confusing yet somewhat compelling. It was interesting why a bunch of people have been committing suicide on this mountain, but I just didn't like the way it was playing out. It felt like a lot of plate spinning. There are 2 main parts to this demo, an abandoned building and a forest. Well, there's a third one, but that's just like a house, just walk through, so I don't really count that. The game starts out as you play as a girl who wakes up in a pool of water. You have to avoid the ghosts that are surrounding you. When eventually that fails, the story then jumps to 2 other people who are searching in a building for an item. Your character is given a camera that can photograph and injure ghosts. You hold up your gamepad like a camera and you turn it back and forth and it moves around the screen accordingly. So that was cool. But thank goodness you could also use the right stick too to move things around, because you don't want to have to turn your head when the screen's behind you too. Even though you can watch the screen in front of you, you're still going to want to use the right stick most of the time. But for subtle movements, yeah, the motion controls work fine. Sometimes you can see the echoes of the past and ghosts will just appear. You're going to have to be fast to take pictures of it to get points that you're going to use to buy items in the store in between chapters. You can get different kinds of film, which makes it easier to dispel the ghosts. One of the problems that I had with the film was that it was confusing to understand which ones were better. They tell you in the item information, why not make the film something like stun film or super film, or something where you can instantly know what it does. Now they search through this abandoned place and find a notebook. On their way out, they get attacked by ghosts. This is basically the tutorial. The ghost will emit balls of light around it, and your job is to get as many of them in a photograph as possible. The more you get, the more you can stun the ghost and get more points. When it tries to attack you though, you have to take a picture real quick. It'll stun it so much that you can do multiple photographs in a row and disperse the ghost. You can also use the camera to find objects that might be hidden in the spirit world, and you're going to need to focus on it and twist and turn your gamepad in order to make it appear in the real world. After this chapter, you go into a forest to find your friend. It's just a bunch of walking around, running into the echoes of the past and more walking around. It was really boring. I hate it when games stretch out areas. Thank goodness for the gamepad's map, or I would have gotten really lost. One of the more annoying things that happen in this part is that quite a few things you have to pick up. And they even stretch this out. They do say that ghosts might grab at you, and maybe that's why she's slow to pick up everything, but it was just so tedious. It was like, dun, 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 dun. Okay, I got it. I say the gameplay is boring in this chapter, but the story elements aren't. I found that creepy. However, all the walking kind of killed any enjoyment I might have had with the level. It was even worse at the end of this long walking level, where you have to walk all the way back with your friend, who has a tendency to wander off. Then you have to find her. I was just like screaming at the game, get on with it! You fight off a few more ghosts and the demo ends, with some scenes from future chapters. They let you play the game in different difficulty levels. So if you're in it for the story, you could choose easy, and if you're a budding ghost photographer, go for the harder difficulty settings. Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater Trial Edition is just an odd beast. I like the story that's unfolding, but I don't like the way it's playing. It's kind of boring yet scary at times, which was a very mixed message. It has way too many drawn out moments, and for a glorified demo, this is a big problem. You're going to want to hook the player early, or they're not going to bother to go back, and this just didn't do it for me. The camera gimmick was okay. Maybe with a little bit more practice, I might find the camera gimmick more fun. But I did like how you could use the R stick to move around the camera, so it wasn't just me moving around the gamepad furiously all the time. So the big question is, would I recommend it? Yeah, I think you should try out the demo. But did it hook me to buy the game? No. Not for $50, maybe $20. The gameplay seemed repetitive. It was just not my cup of tea. If this kind of spooky photography game might appeal to you, Like I said, check out the demo. If you really like what you see here, I would really wait till it goes on sale. Well, that's my review of Fatal Frame Maiden of Blackwater Trial Edition. Why don't you check out my last review of Christmas? No, probably not Christmas games. That wouldn't make much sense because this is past Christmas. You know, people seem to like my worst list. Check that one out. Or you can go way back in my Wii days and check out Juan video game, that grudge type game that I did. I know I probably mispronounced that terribly. That game was spooky. I thank you guys for watching, and please subscribe.